Hey guys, it's Miss Black with another art tutorial. This one is in honor of Earth Day, and let me find out when that is this year. Hey Siri, what day is Earth Day this year?
Earth Day is on Thursday, April 22nd, 2021.
Okay, so it's coming up in about a month from now. And we want to honor Earth Day by doing things that could help change the environment from turning into a place where it's not habitable for animals and different things and different creatures and living things. So Earth Day is all about thinking of ways that you could help with that. And so this project is all about that. What you're going to need is just a piece of paper. I've got a really big piece of paper here. You don't need a big piece of paper, but if you would like to use a big piece of paper to make a big poster out of, that's fine. But we are making a poster. But you don't have to have a big piece of paper. You could also just have a regular size printer paper like I have here. And that's actually where I'm going to be making my poster. The only reason I have this big piece of paper is because I want to show you guys different things that you could draw on your poster, or different symbols that you could use for your poster. So I want to make sure that you have a really good understanding of what you could use and what these symbols mean so that you use them correctly on your poster. I'm also going to give you guys some ideas. I would suggest you find something that you could commit to doing to help save the environment. But, you know, if you have that sort of commitment going, then I think your poster will probably be a little bit more effective. So I'm going to be talking about those different things as well. I'm going to kind of list things that you could maybe make the theme of your poster. So I'm actually going to be doing that first, but before we do that, you're going to need like a piece of paper, like I said, something to draw with. I've got a pencil and something to color with, and I've got some crayons here. So that's what I'm going to be using for this project. But I also just want to list the types of things that you can do to help the environment. So let me get that going. I've got this list pulled up here. Okay, the first one that I see here, it says reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, reduce just means you are going to not use as much of something. Maybe if you usually drink with a straw, maybe instead of using 5 different straws in one day, you could use just one, or maybe not at all, maybe just drink from the cup. Reuse, so you're reusing that straw. Or recycle, so rather than throwing that straw in the trash can where it will go to the landfill and maybe harm animals or the environment, you're going to put it in the recycling bin so that it can be reused in a different way, maybe melted down and turned into more straws, or you know, something like that. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. And what this says is cut down on what you throw away. Follow these 3 R's to conserve natural resources and landfill space. So a symbol for reduce, reuse, and recycle is something like this. I'll show you. So basically all you're drawing is an arrow, and these arrows kind of look like they're flipping over. So you'll start with these lines here, and then the arrow is pointing one way. So it's like you've got this, and then you'll draw another arrow that's like the same type shape. And it's like this thing, whatever you're using, is getting moved around in different areas rather than getting thrown away and put into the landfill. So it's usually 3 different arrows pointing, and it just keeps going and going forever. So that's a symbol for recycling. You could also make this more like block lettery, turning these into shapes to make that look even more like the symbols you see on recycling bins and things. Okay, so that's reduce, reuse, and recycle. Maybe you want to commit to that. Maybe you want to make a poster about that. Another thing you could do is volunteer. So volunteer for cleanups in your community. You can get involved in protecting your watershed too. So you could as maybe as a family, maybe even a group of friends. You can, obviously you need to talk to your parents and make sure that they're okay with this, but you're going to need to go and volunteer, and that's, you're not going to need to, but that's something you could do. And most of the time when you volunteer for this, you might clean up a highway, or you might clean up like a park that's got all of this trash or things like that, and you'd put this really nice protective clothing and gloves, and you just clean up the park or the different places like that. So for volunteering, a really good symbol for that would just be to draw, like when you're in school, a hand raise. I can do this, right? So you're just going to draw a hand, and you can draw all the fingers. It's like a hand raise. So that could be a really good symbol for that if you would like. Another thing you could choose to make a poster about is educate. So you need to learn about these different things and how what you do might be affecting the environment. When you further your own education, you can help others understand the importance and value of our natural resources. So if you educate yourself, you're going to also help to educate others. And if you are knowledgeable about ways to help the environment, you can sort of further that along and educate others as well. So a symbol you could use for educating, let's see, what's a good one here? Maybe like a light bulb, because that's a good symbol for an idea. So you could just draw like a light bulb. That would be my idea. If you have a different idea or a better idea, then go ahead and use that. But like this is just a light bulb, and then you see these two lines and a little filament. So you could do that. Okay, you can educate. Another thing that you could do to help the environment is to conserve water. The less water you use, the less runoff and wastewater that eventually ends up in the ocean. So a good symbol for that would be just like a drip. You could draw like a pipe, because most of the water that you deal with comes from pipes, unless you're going camping or things like that. So this is like a regular pipe here, and then you could draw just like a water drop, and that could be a symbol for helping save water. Okay. Another thing you could do is choose sustainable, and that just means you're only buying or you're only using types of things that doesn't come from a place that's endangered or come from a place where there's not a lot of that resource. On here it says learn how to make smart seafood choices as well. So like if you like to eat seafood, you're only going to get the type of seafood that is very abundant. You're not going to get this really rare seafood that whatever that type of seafood is very rare. You're going to choose things that that replenishes their species a lot. So that's for like meat eaters or fish eaters. But other things could be part of choosing sustainable too. So maybe the products you buy, maybe you go to, you go shopping, and what you're buying says this comes from a sustainable reef source. So it's not something that they're ruining environments to create. A really good symbol for that could be, let's see, what would be a good one for that? I would say maybe even just like a plant. That could be seen as a symbol for something that you are helping sustain. You could draw any plant you want. I'm just going to draw maybe just like this generic one here. Okay, so you could choose sustainable. A few more here that you guys could choose from, and if you think of ones that I didn't bring up, of course you can make a poster about that. But we've got shop wisely. We kind of just talked about that. It says buy less plastic and bring a reusable shopping bag. So using less plastic, and that could be more in the realm of this one, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let me see if there's another symbol we could draw for that. Yeah, so you could draw this thing, but on a shopping bag. So you could draw this symbol and just draw a shopping bag on top of it. Oop, there we go. That could be a really good symbol for that. I think that most people would read that as I'm shopping using things that can be reused or helps to, I'm not going to be using plastic. Then plastic is the biggest problem, I think, with the oceans, because these plastic bags that people use at the grocery store or in like going shopping these different places, a lot of the time they just go to the landfill, and sometimes the landfill gets transported and all this plastic gets floating around on like different shorelines, and a lot of the plastic falls into the water and gets circulated into the ocean. And things like turtles don't know that plastic isn't a food, so they try to eat it, and it kills the turtles. So we want to try and do things to use less plastic. So that would be a really good one to maybe try to do. Let's see, use long-lasting light bulbs. You could draw a light bulb for that too. But like, what are those light bulbs called? LED lights. They are long-lasting, so you don't have to keep buying more light bulbs and then throwing away the waste, creating more waste. Energy efficient light bulbs reduce greenhouse gas emissions as well. So that just means that it's creating less pollution in the air. Also, flip the light switch off when you leave the room. So you could also draw a light switch. So you draw like a square. And then you draw this little thing here where the switch is. And then you can just draw like maybe this is the switch going down. And then you could say on and off. And that could be a really good symbol for that. My favorite one here, I think, is probably plant a tree. I'm going to be doing that this summer. Trees provide food and oxygen. So the leaves from trees actually breathe in the air that we breathe out. And then it turns the air that we breathe out into the air that we breathe in. So trees are a really good resource that the earth helps, that Mother Earth has kind of helped us survive with. So you could just draw a tree for that. And there's lots of different ways to draw a tree. I'm just going to draw just a sort of generic tree. Lots of branches, and then maybe just like a cloud looking thing like that. You could get more detailed if you want to. But trees are wonderful. Okay, another one is don't send chemicals into our waterways. So if you are using chemicals for different things, maybe you you helped your parents paint your living room, and that you should be cleaning those types of things somewhere other than what would go into our waterways. So maybe not in the sink, maybe outside, so that it doesn't get into the water circulatory systems. So choose non-toxic chemicals in the home to use. Maybe that's cleaning chemicals, maybe that's arts and craft chemicals like I use. And those types of chemicals that I use, I make sure to dispose of in a location that takes that type of thing and can recycle it. So make sure that you're not using toxic things into our waterways. Let's see a good symbol you could draw for that. Maybe you could draw well, a lot of poison type things, like a symbol for poison is oftentimes a skull. So if this doesn't, poison symbol. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a skull with crossbones. So you could draw that, and then you could put like a slash through it saying no poisonous things. So that could be something you do. I'll just draw that down here. So you could just draw like an oval for the skull, and then the eyes, triangle for the nose, and then do like a almost like a smile with lines, and that is a symbol, like a skull symbol. And then you would draw like bones in the background crossing each other, and that's usually a symbol for poison, right? Oops, wrong way. Okay, so that's the symbol for poison right there. And so you could draw a circle around it, and usually when you draw a circle around it with a slash through it, that means the opposite, or that's not allowed. So you just kind of erase that. So this basically just means no poison, right? So you could put that in there on your poster. And then last thing is probably just drive less. So see if you can walk places more with your family. See if you can bike with your family once it starts getting warm. And so what you could draw for that is just a bike. So to draw a bike, I don't know if you've ever drawn a bike before, but you're going to draw 2 circles for the wheels. And you're going to draw some little dots in there. These little spokes. Kind of look like these big eyes right now. And then you're going to draw like the handlebar that goes to this line here, and here's like the seat, and then the handlebar is like that. So there's a bike right there, and that could promote, you know, using less gasoline from cars and promoting that. Okay, so these are all the symbols and things I'm going to talk about. If you have ideas for other things, by all means, use that idea for your poster. The last thing I'm going to show you today before I do my poster on a time lapse is I'm going to show you how to draw some different animals. So the first one I want to show you that we've already kind of talked about is actually a turtle. So all you're going to do is you can draw it just like, you know, this way or just any direction. I'm just going to draw my turtle like this. So you're going to draw a teardrop shape, water drop shape, and that's like the shell shape. And then where the point is going to be like where the tail is for the turtle. The opposite side would be where the head goes. And then arms that help them swim, and legs that help them steer what they're swimming. Okay, and then on the inside, you draw that border in the shell. And then most turtle shells have hexagons going down the middle. And then you just draw lines going to the outside, which creates pentagons. So we got a turtle you could draw. You could draw lots of marine life because a lot of this is actually going to help marine life. So you could also draw a whale. Best way I know how to draw a whale, let me see my example here because I have some examples from doing this project with other classes over the years. So let me find my example really quick. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. So the first thing you'll draw, if you're going to decide to draw a whale, is a slight frowny line, like this. And then, sorry, I should be there. And then below, you're going to draw a smiley line that's like a little bit happier and bring it to there. And then you're right here where the, like this is where the head is, this is where the tail is. You're going to draw a line that goes down like that. And then an eye right above that mouth, because this is the mouth. And then you'll draw a, almost like you're continuing this line into their fin, and then bring that to the end. And then there is a, I think it's called the dorsal fin, and you'll just draw that here. Okay, so there's a whale you could draw to help the whales. You could draw any manner of fish, or you could draw maybe some polar bears. See, there's a really cute way I know how to draw a polar bear. All you do is you start with a circle, and that's like his nose or her nose, and then you draw a circle around that. And that's like, so here's the nose and here's like the snout, and then you'll draw eyes right here and here. Color those in. You can color the nose in. Okay, and then you'll draw a circle around that whole thing. And it could be like a wonky circle, like that. And you'll draw the ears. And this could be not only a polar bear, but could be also just like any bear. And then above the head, most polar bears like walk all hunched over. So you could draw like a big frowny line, this, and another one underneath it. And then for the feet, more frowny lines. And then there's a polar bear right there. Okay, and it's really fun to kind of paint this white or color it white if you are doing it on color paper, but if you're not, color everything else a different color. All right, what else could be saved with this type of thing? You could draw trees. Okay, and we already drew one. The easiest way I know how to draw a tree, I actually learned about this in 2nd grade. My friend Billy taught me how to draw trees, and I've actually never stopped drawing trees this way. So all you do is you draw 2 big lines for the trunk, and like this might go into the roots, things like that. But above it, you're going to draw like the letter V, and then lines that kind of follow that movement of the V. And then inside each of these little things, you're going to draw more letter V's. And I mean, Billy was the coolest kid, you guys. Like, he taught me this, and I have never stopped drawing trees this way. I might have like developed it more, but it's really all trees are like this. So you could draw trees like that, and maybe draw some like leaves on it, or you could do like the cloud thing that we did up there. Let's see what else we could draw. So maybe just regular fish. So if you want to just draw like a regular fish, you could do this. I always do this, and then you could, like, if you want to make it look more realistic, you curve that out. There's a little fin there. They also have sometimes dorsal fins like that. And then you could draw the scales on there. You could save the fish. Okay, so that's a way you could draw fish. You could draw a shark. Let me just look up a shark, and I'll give you a quick way to draw one. It's a lot like the whale. So you'll draw a frowny line, and then your smiley line is actually about as happy as this frowny line is sad. It's about the same. It looks kind of like an eye at first. And then you'll draw this very iconic fin on there, on the top. And maybe just like a line for the mouth, an eye, and then their fin right here that helps them kind of guide themselves in the water goes below their belly. And then this like change in color of their skin goes throughout. And it's still kind of looking like a whale right now, but if you add these extra little fins below and above, it's going to look a lot like a shark. And then this this dorsal fin that you see in the back, I think is what it's called, is a lot bigger too. So there's a shark. You could save the sharks in your poster. Lots of sea life is helped by the environment. You could draw birds. So like a flying bird, you could draw like the same shape. And instead of a fin, you just draw like these feathers. And then its head, it's like a circle there. And then you could just draw like the wings. And then a beak. So there's a bird right there. You could do birds. I'm just, any ideas that you have. Let me look at these different symbols. Maybe that could give me some ideas, but I'm going to end this video pretty soon. I might just draw one more thing to help you guys get some ideas. You could also draw the earth. I'll draw something beyond this, but just draw a circle with like all these shapes in there and color the shapes you're drawing green and color everything else blue. And there's earth. That would be a really good one. You could draw handprints as if you're helping. So you just draw hands, like a bunch of hands. Because that's usually just like a mark of being human, and this is a human trying to create change. You could draw two hands kind of holding the earth. Oops, you can't see that. Okay, that's always a really good symbol for Earth Day, and you could add that to your poster. That's all the ideas I have for you guys. Just kind of choose what you want to do and, think about these ways that you could potentially help the earth and create a poster out of it. And then after you've sketched it out with your pencil or pen, add color and make it complete. I'm going to be doing a time lapse of me completing one. Stay tuned for that. It might not be for a while, but I will post what mine looks like and the process that I go through to create it. But just as one last visual and just like one last recap, you could think about recycling, using less plastic, being a volunteer. Gosh, what was that the symbol for? What did we decide? It was just like conserving, I think. And then this was educating yourself or using less light bulbs, saving water, not using any sort of poison in our water system, making sure to turn off lights, planting a tree, using the car less, and then these are just like animals that you guys could maybe draw if you didn't know how to draw them. Or if you know how to draw other animals that you want to try and save and help, then you can draw that animal too. But I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with, and I hope you share it with me. Thanks, you guys.